Shalom, Yasha Allah. First and foremost, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Barakadash, the honor to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, Ruel, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, push this great gospel in sincerity and truth. This is your brother Tazakai from Great Millstone, Indianapolis, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And right here we got an article here from RT.com. It reads, 2021 going to be catastrophic. UN warned it faces worst crisis in its history. And this lesson, this article came out December 5th, 2020, the year of prophecy. And it reads, the head of the World Food Program has made a dire forecast about the months to come, slating catastrophic humanitarian crisis for 2021 and what could be the worst year seen in the better part of a century. So if you thought 2020 was something, well, hey, that's going to be a cakewalk compared to 2021. And through the prophetic lenses that the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, has blessed his prophets, with that vision to see. Like I said, all these signs and, all these tokens, hey, man, they've been all coming to pass. The Lord been moving on our behalf. And it reads, WFP Chief David Beasley sounded the alarm at a United Nations General Assembly meeting on Friday, convened to discuss the Crown Royal pandemic and worldwide efforts to blunt its impact. He warned that some 270 million people are now marching towards starvation and that in some countries, famine is around the horizon. 2021 is literally going to be catastrophic based on what we're seeing at this stage in the game. Beasley said, adding that because we spent $19 trillion, that money may not and will not most likely be available for 2021, even as economic contractions have already begun. We're now looking literally at 2021 being the worst humanitarian crisis year since the beginning of the United Nations, and we're going to have to step up. It says, let's read this. While Beasley said the pandemic and government lockdown policies are driving the disturbing trends, stating the cure could be worse than the disease because of the economic ripple effect. He noted that man-made conflict also had a role to play, naming ongoing wars in Syria, Yemen, and South Sudan. We've got to end some of these wars. We've got to bring these wars to an end so we can achieve the sustainable development goals that we so desire, he said, dubbing the conflicts, health crises, and looming famines as icebergs in front of the Titanic. It says if we're strategic and put the funds to these particular icebergs before us, I believe that we can get through 2021 while we work with the vaccines and rebuild the economy. And ultimately, their main plans is to, do their whole, their new world order, Like I said, they want to pretty much ultimately, this is going to lead to all people, like I said, they want a new sustainable future. They got to stop all these man-made things, which really they're behind most of these proxy wars and wars that's going on anyway. So ultimately they trying to, fulfill their enterprise. Ultimately they want to chip everybody in the end. But, this is not the focus of this lesson. So back to it, it says famine of biblical proportions looms over humanity due to Crown Royal 19 UN food chief warns. In August, the WFP head said the number of people facing malnutrition could spike by 80% by the end of the year, warning of a famine of biblical proportions. So this is talking about 80% of the world, not just any one given country or area or even one continent. This is talking about 80% of the world. And it says as millions risk starvation, UNICEF meanwhile predicted in May that in 118 low and middle income nations, 1.2 million children under the age of 5 could die in the following 6 months, pending the surge of a declining access to medical care due to lockdowns, curfews, and transport disruptions. So hey, ultimately, this pandemic, this pestilence that's been going around, it's wreaking a lot of havoc. And, ultimately, like you said, man, we know this is going to lead to that one thing, but, we're going to focus on this biblical famine, it says, right? And it says, this is 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 17. It reads, woe is me, woe is me. Woe means destruction, right? who will deliver me in those days? And we understand that, hey, Yahweh Shai is going to deliver his elect in those days. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, right? Because you hear them, hey, the UN, they right now you hear that fear, this is gonna be the most catastrophic year, they're shaking right now, and it says, the beginning of evils meaning bad times. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So, again, the hopeful elect, they're gonna trust in Yahweh Shai to be delivered. But for the rest of you, you 2/3 and the rest of you heathens, man, hey, ain't shit you can do. Now, if any one of the 2/3 were to, repent and come back to Yahweh Shai, hey, they may be able to, be delivered in those times. But ultimately, just keeping it as a whole, yeah, the 1/3, the elect, they gonna be good in these times. But you 2/3, you through. You heathens, you through. And yeah, ultimately, we, the elect, the Lord willing to be the hopeful elect, yeah, we gonna be in it, but we're not gonna have to go through it. This is going into the time of Jacob's trouble. This is mainly for the wicked of the earth. Starting with Esau, Edom, and the 2/3 of Jacob. Pretty much the rest of you heathens. This is for you. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, and a scourge is an instrument of punishment. So these famines, these plagues, all this tribulation, this anguish, this confusion, this perplexity, they are all sent for scourges. Like I said, great death and mournings, these are all sent as, like I said, punishments for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn for the wickedness. So yeah, even going through all these things, the plagues, the famines, the death, destruction, so forth and so on, you name it, they not even going to turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. And mainly, this is for you Jakes, you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Hey, you other nations, y'all collateral damage, but y'all gonna get it too, for what y'all have done unto us. But this is mainly for Jake. Verse 21, behold, victual shall be so good cheap upon earth, like your Wendy's, your Burger King, your Steak and Shake, just your mom and pop, easy places that you can conveniently get food, that they should think themselves of being a good case. So hey, even though, like I said, let's talk about the family of biblical proportions, those will think, hey, but at least we still got these restaurants, so we gonna be good. Not so, not so, because it says what? Even then, so say that that they should think themselves of being a good case, and even then, so even while you're in that good case, shall evils, bad times, grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. That's what's coming. Sword, death, destruction, famine, lack of bread, food, and great confusion. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of confusion going on, because the people are going to be wondering what the hell is going on. Why is the earth doing this to us? Or ultimately, why Yahweh Shai doing this? But they're not even going to know that he's doing it. They just going to be in it, just perplexity, like, wow, I never witnessed anything like this. Each and every year, and Lord willing, we leave in 2021. Each and every year is going to be worse than the previous. Trust and believe that the Lord is moving for his men, of the elect, men and women. But ultimately, like I said, fulfilling the words of what the prophets are saying out there week in and week out, day in and day out, with these video epistles, sit downs, live streams, so forth and so on. Hey man, the Lord's speaking right now, through his prophets. And it says what? Verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine. So many on earth, it says shall, so will perish of famine. And the other that escape the hunger, so those who escape the famine, so those who are able to find a little bread to eat to sustain themselves, shall the sword destroy. And like I said, that sword can go into what is it's a killing instrument. You can be, killed by a gun. Somebody can cut you with a sword. Somebody can shank you. And ultimately, also that main sword is gonna be what, Yahweh Shai, the holy angels, and those intercontinental ballistic missiles. So if you escape from, that famine or any of those pestilences, any of those other things, hey, Yahweh Shai, still gonna get you. Hey, no one can be delivered out of his hands, So, and that's pretty much the point right here in this chapter. Like, yeah, man, it says it's gonna be a famine of biblical proportions. Hey, we know that it's all written in the scriptures for it to happen and to go down. This is nothing that shock us. This is a faith booster us that the Lord, that we know that He moving on our behalf, for His elect. And like I said again, hopefully we be of that number. And just a precept that this is Matthew chapter 24. So we got that in the Apocrypha, or what could be considered the Old Testament, but the Apocrypha. And also we're going to get this account in the New Testament, so we understand that it's in both. I said the prophets, the apostles, hey, they come in like manner, preaching the same prophecies, the same things that's going on. But ultimately, we know this is, Yahushua speaking, but we understand that he is the word. He come in the volume of the book. It is written to me. This is all Yahushua. So it reads Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. We've definitely been hearing that, rumors of wars too, especially with this recent event that went on between Israel and Iran. Rumors of war. I vow we're gonna do this back to you, this and that, and we already, like saying, hear of wars. It already says ongoing wars in Syria, Yemen, South Sudan, and other places as well. It says what? See that you be not troubled. So even hear about these things, you're not going to be troubled. You're not going to be dismayed. We're not going to be confused. We're not going to be failing of faith. We're not going to be failing of heart. No, we're going to be steadfast. For all these things must come to pass, right? So all these things must happen before we are to receive that salvation, Lord willing. But the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. That's what we seeing right now. We seeing nation against nation. Like really, you're gonna start seeing, like I said, so-called race wars. Kingdom against kingdom, country against country. And there shall be what? Famines. So say there shall be. And we understand that this is a pandemic famine, but hey, the how about you now? Shy gonna send famines to where it's gonna come out of nowhere. They ain't gonna know what to do with it. They ain't gonna have no type of sustainable vaccine or anything planned, or they're not going to be able to. It's just going to hit them like a thief in the night, and a lot of people going to die from them. As far as like the pestilences, so like it says, that there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes. Man, I got an earthquake beater, and I know other brothers and sisters may have them, and you see them earthquakes definitely all been in diverse places. Crazy places that you wouldn't even imagine. It's just everywhere, ongoing. You can't track them. They're just going. I guarantee you right now, I can look at the meter, and one probably happened 10 to 30 minutes ago. But scripture say, verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrow. So even when all these things are going on, this is just the beginning of sorrows. Hey man, we about to, like I said, the world's about to go through it, right? Because ultimately it's leading to this point. This is start at verse 6. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man doeth travail with child, right? Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. So this is comparing a man to giving birth. Which we know is, that don't happen at all. But it's just saying, like, every man's gonna have their hands, on their loins, like they're gonna be going through it, they're gonna be anguishing, they're gonna be in pain. Like I said, all faces turn to paleness. Your face turning to paleness, that's what, normally if you watch a movie when something turns pale, what that mean, man, they scared to death. Or what people say, man, I feel like you just seen a ghost, right? Yeah, this time period we're going to is not gonna be sweet at all. It's not gonna be a cakewalk. And it reads, it says what? Verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that it is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who is that he? Well, of course, the Israelites, but in this time, the Israelites of the Most High, the remnant, the elect, they shall be saved out of Jacob's trouble. But ultimately, like I said, this is the time period that we're going into, a period where, like I said, just of anguish, of distress, perplexity, like I said, a period of great mournings and sorrows. That's it. That's, like I said, that's related to verse 6. That's what we're going to. But we're going to those time periods. And ultimately, you're not going to be able to make it unless you got your How About Shekinah Shine on your side. If you don't have your How About Shekinah Shine that day, man, I'm just going to say it, man, you fucked. You're through. You're done. There's nothing you can do about it. So it's best for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans to repent and come back to your power so that you may be preserved and saved to see the salvation of Yasha Allah. But if not, you're going to be preserved and saved to be destroyed in the day of the Lord's wrath. So Ultimately, want to finish it off right here. This is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 9. They that be slain with the sword, are better than they that be slain with hunger. So it's better for you to be killed by somebody. It's better for you to be hit by a car going 100 miles an hour. It's better for you to, just any other type of death. It's better, pretty much, than to be slain with hunger, right? For these pine away, you just sitting there just withering away, stricken through for the wants of the fruits of the field. You gonna pine away wanting to what? Just to eat. You're not gonna be able to. The Lord got that judgment set for a lot of people in this world. Like I said, many shall perish. Right? There'll be more that perish than them that will be saved. And that's a fact. That's through the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And it says what? The hands of the pitiful woman has signed their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. So this is saying at a point in time, and we done went through this a couple times, where we had to, eat our children, And we coming back into them times again. Cannibalism, hey, there's already been talks of cannibalism, So hey, we go, like I said again, we going into these times, and we're going to a time that had never have been since there have been a nation even put on earth. This time period we go into, you cannot compare it to any other time period, and it can equal up or be even worse than what the time period that we had in there. But again, like I said, all these things must come to pass before we are able to receive salvation. So I hope this lesson was edifying to any sincere Akwafim out there listening. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, push this great gospel in sincerity and truth. Shalom, Yasha Allah, Abai, Babal.